Now, I'm hoping to turn these two things into a beautiful mint extract, but I haven't actually done this before, and from the reading that I've been doing, hopefully I don't turn it into a pond water. G'day, it's Rachel here from Bush Edge Homesteading Australia, and today I'm going to have a go at making some mint extract for the first time. And I will say this one is going to be a little bit experimental with you guys. I've never done mint extract before. I've done the vanilla extracts, and I shared a video actually just this weekend to me, and I had a lot of people kind of come back and make suggestions about different types of extracts that they do, and one of the suggestions was mint extract, and that is something I had thought about doing previously, but I haven't made it before, and I thought I would give it a bit of a go. I did do some reading. I will say there's some interesting commentary online when you have a bit of a look at how to make it. There's lots of different time frames, everything from kind of like 7 days up to about 30 days, which is obviously a lot shorter than I steep the vanilla extracts. And there was also some really interesting comments about people who had ended up with something that kind of was reminiscent of pond water. Yeah, so that sounds really appetizing. Now, I'm hoping that doesn't happen to me because I've got a bit of mint in the garden at the moment, but there's not a huge amount. This is the garden area that I have, the shady garden out the front of my house. And I do want to make mint sauce still. And if you haven't seen how I do mint sauce and you want to have a go at doing that, that is a super easy recipe. There's a separate video for that. So check that out if you want to do mint sauce. And I definitely need to do a little bit more. And that means I want to use some of this mint for that as well. So I don't want to be wasting mint at the moment. But I do want to have a go at doing mint extract because I do like making ice cream with chocolate chips and mint essence in it in the summertime, and it's starting to get to that warm time of the year now, and it'd be really cool if I actually had some mint extract of my own in the cupboard. The first thing I need to do to make this is actually pick some of this mint, and you might have noticed as I'm kind of meandering around, there's two different types of mint that I have here. There's this one here, and I haven't actually really used this one yet because I got this earlier in the year as part of one of my swap groups, and I can't remember what type of mint it is. I can't remember, honestly. I think I was told it was either like spearmint or peppermint. It's got a much longer leaf on it, so if you know what that is, I would absolutely love you to let me know in the comments. But I'm going to use some of this one, and then I'm going to pick some of just like the common mint that I've had going in the garden for a long time, and this is the one that I normally use for doing the mint sauce. So I'm going to grab my bowl and I'm going to start doing a bit of picking, and what I'm going to try and do is actually keep the two lots of leaves separate because I'm going to make two different types of mint extract because I want to see which one tastes best. Good ones are at the back. Now, as for how much to pick, I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to do 2 little pint jars because I haven't done this before, and I also don't want to waste the alcohol, so I'm thinking that might be enough. Now this again is going to be a bit of an experiment, so in terms of measurements, I don't know, a colander. So I've got my mint and I'm back inside. I've given it a really good wash now, and I need to make sure I dry it. And that was one of the things that I read when I was reading about different people's experiences with making the mint extract. People were saying that where they hadn't dried it properly, that was one of the things that kind of led to that kind of murky pond water, not very nice I nearly said vanilla extract, mint extract kind of result. So I do want to make sure that is nice and dry. And yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense when you're doing extracts. You don't want to be adding a whole bunch of water And if you water it down too much, of course, it's not going to be working as a bit of a preservative, which you do need it to do in this particular case. So let's make sure that's nice and dry. All right, now I do seem to have a bit more of this unknown mint than my normal mint, but we'll see how much fits in the jars. Okay, so actually I probably should mention all the stuff that I've got to make the mint extract. So essentially it's really simple ingredients wise. You just need a neutral alcohol. So if you've got something like a vodka, that will do the trick for you. And of course your nice, clean and dry mint leaves. Now between being outside and coming back inside, I have changed my mind a little bit, and instead of the pint jars, I'm actually going to have a go at doing this in just the half pint jars. And that way, if it doesn't work, I'm not going to waste as much of my valuable alcohol. When you're doing experiments, and if you've been watching me for a little while, you probably know I love a good experiment. It's always good to test with smaller batches if you've got something that you don't want to waste, like the alcohol here. And that way, if it does go wrong, you haven't wasted so much of a valuable product. And if it goes right, well, you can dial it in even more that next time around and scale up your batches. So I'm going to do 1 half pint of this mint and 1 half pint of extract of this mint here. So I'm going to start off with this one. And apparently what we need to do is take the leaves off of our mint and pop them in a mortar and pestle. So I'm going to pluck off these leaves. I'll speed this up a little bit for you guys. And and then we'll come back and we'll give them a bit of a bash. All right, that's the last of our mint in the mortar and pestle, and that's kind of filled the bowl up quite nicely. So what we're going to do now is just give it a bit of a bash. And the reason for this is it's to release the oils in the leaves. So it's kind of similar to when you're doing mint sauces, or you're putting a bit of mint in a mojito or something like that. You always want to crush your leaves, and that's just so that those oils can actually release from your leaves. And of course, that's what you're trying to do when you're doing your infusions into things like alcohol. It's really about getting all of that nice oil and flavour associated with that out of your plants and getting that to infuse into the alcohol, and then that's your extracts. It really is really simple. All right, those leaves are all bruised. Like, I don't want to fully smash them into like a paste or anything like that. It really is just kind of bruising the leaves. So that's kind of what I've taken it to. And it sounded like that's what a lot of people have best success with. So now I've done that, I'm just going to pop that into our jar. And that's a decent amount of mint leaf for our little jar. But it's not too full. I think that'll be okay. Again, this is something I might experiment with a little bit, is the amount of mint that I put in the jars with these, but that's about probably 3/4 full. And now I'm just going to top that up with the alcohol. All right, I'll pop that there, and then we'll start on this one. And it's just the same thing with these mint leaves. Again, I'm just going to pick the leaves off, pop them in our mortar and pestle. Actually, what's quite interesting is the aroma of these mint leaves is a lot stronger than the ones of this one. So it'll be really interesting doing two different sorts of mint like this to see which one ends up tasting better. As I mentioned, I kind of had the idea reinforced when there was lots of awesome comments on the recent vanilla extract video. And not only did people kind of mention about using your normal mints like this at home, but people were also mentioning about using chocolate mint. Excuse me. But I don't have a lot of chocolate mint in the garden at the moment, but that sounds pretty cool. I reckon if this does work out and I do make mint essence successfully and I don't make pond water when my chocolate mint is going really well. I reckon that's something I might actually give a bit of a go because that sounds pretty cool. All right, nearly there. Last few. And then again, what we're going to do is we're just going to give this a bit of a whack in our mortar and pestle, just again to bruise those leaves. So again, not smashing it into a paste or anything like that, just bruising our leaves. Now it was really interesting because again, I've been reading on this the last couple of days since that video went live, and there was even lots of different conflicting information about what to do with the leaves. Like some people were saying just kind of crush it in your hand, right through to people saying pop it in a blender and blend the leaves right up with the alcohol and then kind of strain it afterwards. So what I'm doing here, I guess, is going with something that's kind of in the middle of all of those different recommendations on how to do this. And hopefully it works because, as I said, it'd be really, really nifty to have our own mint essence for making things like ice cream. All right, let's get that out the way. And that one. And we'll top this one up too. Again, just filling it up to the top with the alcohol. And then all we need to do is cap these off. Now that's going to be confusing. Oregano. I think I'll wipe that off. This one here is applesauce from, what's that, 2019, and it looks like it's been used for something else since then as well. So I'm just going to pop on this one that it's the common mint extract. And where are we now? November, my goodness. So it's November 7th. So this is how I use Melbourne Cup Day. And this one here is our, as I said, I'm not sure if it's spearmint or peppermint. I'm going to put in peppermint. But again, if you know what it is from looking at those leaves, I would love you to pop a comment for me and help me out with what that is, because I did a bit of a Google search and I couldn't quite find something exactly the same. So again, November 7th. So just like other essences, at this point we really just need to have a little bit of patience. Now, how much patience I need to have, I'm not quite sure, because as I said, normally with the vanilla extracts, like you want to leave them at least 6 months if you're splitting the beans. You know, if you can leave it 12 months, it's going to be even better. That last batch I did, I left for 8 months, and that was really, really nice. It does sound like with your mint, you leave it a lot less time, but as I said, I did find conflicting information. So I'm going to leave this on the bench. Normally I would put something like this away in the cupboard, keep it in kind of a cooler and darker spot, but I do want to keep a closer eye on this. I'm not going to have it in direct sun or anything like that, but each day I want to have a bit of a look at this. I also want to make sure that I am giving it a little bit of a shake each day as well, because I'm not sure if you can see kind of close up here, but a lot of those mint leaves are kind of popping above the surface, so I don't want any issues with molding or anything like that. And if I just give it a little bit of a shake, that should be perfectly fine. It's quite interesting because we've only just made this, and already you can kind of see a little bit of colour in our liquid. So that was a completely clear alcohol before. That's our alcohol there. And you can see there's a little bit of colour already. So yeah, anyway, what I'll do is I will keep coming back on this vid and we'll check in kind of each day or so, and we'll see how long this actually takes and if I actually successfully make mint extract, or if, like some other people have online, make pond water. It's now the next evening and I thought we'll do a quick check of our extracts. Colour-wise, they really aren't that different to what they were yesterday. Still nice and green looking. Yeah, nothing particularly noteworthy in the look. I can see that when I look at the liquid itself, there is a bit of colour to the liquid, but as we saw yesterday, it was already starting to get a bit of colour to it just after we kind of put the vodka over the top of that mint. So yeah, I think my youngest wants to get stuck in. You're probably seeing the hand
Yeah.
coming in from the side.
Hello.
You want to have a bit of a smell and see what it smells like? I know, I definitely want to have a bit of a smell. Let's see. Let's have a sniff. Oh, interesting. Have a bit of a smell.
It's got a very unique smell to it. Like,
What do you think it smells like?
I don't know. Like, it smells like alcohol in a way.
It
Like,
does
like,
smell very alcoholic.
You know hand sanitizer, like that alcohol in it? It kind of smells like that.
Yeah. I will say, right at the moment, that smells extremely alcoholic. I think
And
you
very
actually nailed that in terms of the description.
And it also smells very strong.
It does smell very strong and like alcohol. All right, let's have a bit of a sniff of this one as well. So this is the other type of mint, that second one where we're not sure if it's peppermint or spearmint, something like that. And let's see what that smells like. Oh, that actually smells quite different to the other one. Have a smell of that.
Yeah, it does. I don't know what it smells like, but like...
The alcohol smell actually isn't as strong in that one.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. I wouldn't say either smell particularly like mint though. So yeah, hopefully we start to get a bit of the oils coming out of those leaves and it starts to smell a bit more like mint so that we get that mint extract scent and flavour. But yeah, at the moment, they are still quite alcoholic and not particularly minty, but the colour doesn't look too bad. All right, we'll check in. Well, I'm not sure if we'll check in tomorrow, but we'll just keep an eye on these and we'll keep checking in with you and let you know how they're going. It is a super busy Sunday, but I thought what we'd do is check our mint extract together. You're gonna have to excuse all the noise outside, but we have been spending a lot of time in the garden today and hubby's out there doing a whole bunch of whippersnippering, so hopefully you can still hear me okay. All right, let's have a look at how this mint extract has gone after, what would it be now, about 5 days of brewing. You can probably see that the colour has started getting a little bit darker, and if I look at the liquid of each one of these, it actually appears to be a little bit different. So you can kind of see there's a bit of a brownness to that liquid there, and this one here, that's that common mint extract. What's actually quite interesting is that brown colour that we're looking at is really, really similar to when I do the mint sauce. That's kind of the colour I actually get imparted into that kind of vinegary liquid that we have when I do mint sauce. So yeah, that's probably not too unexpected that that's the colour. And this one here, that's our, we're assuming peppermint. And let's have a look at the colour that we're getting with that one there. One there is probably a little bit greener. It's not got quite so much of that brownness to it, but that's quite interesting. All right, what I'm going to do is just quickly grab the stand for this, or I might actually grab one of the kids so that I can open these up and we'll see what they smell like. Alrighty, I've got a bit of help now with the filming, so that means I can now open these up. Got a bit of help, don't I, buddy? Mm-hmm. Thank you. This one here is the common mint. And let's open it up. Oh, that's actually kind of tough to pop off. All right, I've managed to get that off with the finger. I actually thought I was going to have to do my spoon trick, same as I have to do when I'm taking lids off canning jars. All right. Again, it's not particularly minty. A lot of the alcohol smell to it's kind of masking the underlying aroma to that. So I wonder if that is going to change as more of the oils from the mint start coming into that liquid. Or it might end up being that we actually need to test this when it has infused a bit longer by putting it in, you know, like some baking or actually using it to make some ice cream, because what often happens is even when you're making the vanilla extract, you're putting it in alcohol. The alcohol's still there and it can be quite a dominant smell. So sometimes if you use it in a bit of baking, you can actually see what that true underlying taste and scent is going to be like. All right, so that's our common mint. Let's have a look at what this one looks like here. This is that peppermint / spearmint, unknown mint. I am still hoping one of you guys can help me out in the comments with what you think that is. Let's see if this one's stuck down too. It is, woo, that one went flying. Oh, it's a bit more of a green colour on the lid of that one. That's interesting. And if we have a bit of a look in the top there, yep, that looks a little bit greener than the other ones. This one's looking a bit browner. This one's looking a little bit greener, I would say. And I'm going to have a bit of a smell of this one too. That one there, there's probably a little bit more of a mint kind of scent to it, but still I would say the alcohol is kind of the predominant smell that I'm getting. But again, yeah. Well, actually the other thing I should mention is if we have a bit of a look in the top again, it is looking nice and clear, which is good. No signs of mold or anything on top. I am actually giving this a bit of a shake every day or so, so that should prevent any of that sort of thing. It's keeping our leaves submerged, but you can see they haven't actually sunk yet. They are still kind of floating up to the top. Anyway, let's cap those off, and I'll probably leave it for another week or so, and then we'll come back together and have another look at it together, unless of course something changes between now and then. See you then. It's been about 2.5 weeks that the mint has been steeping into the alcohol and hopefully extracting some yummy mint flavour into that alcohol. And I definitely think it's time to give these a bit of a check and a bit of a test. And if they're starting to smell minty, I am kind of prepared today with a bit of a strainer. So I've got one of these little strainers here that's kind of like a bit of a tea strainer. Today, what we're going to do is use this, assuming it's ready, to strain out our different extracts. Now the two that we've got, just to remind you, is the common mint on this side, and we've got the peppermint or whatever that mint was on this side here. And I have been kind of just giving these a bit of a shake every so often, and as I've been doing that, I can see that the liquid does look a little bit darker in this one here than it looks in this one here. So it'll be interesting when I do strain that, if that is actually the way it looks, or if that's just the way it looks while it's on the leaves. So we'll find that out together in a second. All right, I reckon let's get in there and let's open these up. So first of all, and you can probably notice I've got some extra hands in here giving me a hand today. My youngest is back because you're keen to see if this is nice and minty now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's start with the common mint. So, all right.
I can hold this for you.
Yep, that'd be awesome. Thank you. And there's our lid.
Oh, that looks really dark.
It is a lot darker than it was last time. Let's kind of go over the top so that people kind of see that colour has changed a lot. Now, I'm getting a bit of a smell off of that. I'm not sure if I like it though.
Can I have a smell?
Yeah, you can have a bit of a sniff.
Yeah, I can smell. I actually enjoy it.
You like the smell of that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I like the smell of that. Yeah, it's not the nicest smell in the world that I'm smelling there. So, yeah, you want to smell it again?
Actually, I
Are you just saying that because I said it smells a bit dodge? Or
Yeah,
do you...
actually, because before I hadn't had that good of a smell, and
Yeah.
now I'm actually had a really good smell just then.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
It's
really
not
strong.
minty, is it?
It's a little minty. It's really strong though.
Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of mint off that. All right, anyway, let's pour it in. I reckon we... Oops.
Oh, you spilled
there we
it.
go. Yeah, I did spill it everywhere.
Whoopsies. Mum's famous whoops.
Yes, that does happen in the kitchen, doesn't it? Alrighty. So you can kind of see the colour of the leaves there.
Oh,
Oh, you're going to start doing the whoops, are you?
whoops.
And do you want to maybe put that over this one here for me? Kind of pop that over there. And there's our liquid. So that is really, really dark.
Can I try one of the mint?
No, I probably wouldn't recommend trying one of the mint. Now, actually, that's actually probably an important and good question for anyone. When you're making extracts, you've got to remember that is kind of alcohol, and you are extracting the oils into alcohol. And even when you buy like vanilla essence and stuff, you don't drink it straight out of the bottle. That stuff you buy from the supermarket is full of alcohol as well. Again, it's kind of like an extract of the oils from vanilla in that case into alcohol. And if you actually taste it straight up, it tastes horrible. And if we give this a taste straight up, this is going to be pretty horrible as well. Yeah, I'm not even sure if we use it in cooking if it's not going to be horrible, to be totally honest. It does smell pretty ordinary. Yeah, but on its own and tasting it like this is not going to give us a true reflection on whether it actually tastes like a good extract or not. What I need to do is I need to either kind of cook this into something, or there is a little bit of a test that you can do with like whipped cream and milk and stuff like that, where you put vanilla essence into it. And I kind of wonder if we could do the same thing with the mint. We might give that a go in a second, but first of all, what I'm going to do is kind of pop this one to the side, and we'll open this second one up, which is that pepperminty unknowny mint flavour, and we'll see what that one smells like. Because I'll be honest, this first one here, I'm really not that excited about the smell of that. It's not like when I make my like mint sauce and stuff like that, where you do get a beautiful mint scent off of the mint. That's not the smell that's imparted into this. Like, to be honest, I'm kind of thinking I've actually made something a little bit closer to the pond water that we were hoping not to make. Anyway, let's test that in a second, but first of all, let's filter this one out. All right, here's our second one. Get the lid off this one. All right, that's that one off. And let's have a bit of a closer look at this one. That one doesn't look quite as dark. Keen to give this one a smell. Oh, yeah, that's not cool. You know what? I'm really not liking the smell of either of those. This one does smell a little bit different, but I still wouldn't say it smells anything like when you buy a mint extract. Yeah, there's kind of, I don't know, it's almost like an earthy, decaying leaves kind of smell. There's no like sign of mold or anything nasty like that in here. It's just honestly not a scent that's to my liking. Anyway, I will strain this one as well. And as I said, what we'll do is we will give it a little bit of a test in a second. But yeah, I don't know that we've actually made mint extract here, guys. Well, that's the two that we've made side by side. I've actually just popped a light behind them so that you can see the difference in colour between the two. And this one here, that common mint, you can see is a lot darker than that other pepperminty one. But I think the proof is going to be in the pudding with these. We need to give these a little bit of a test. Now, I'm not baking today, so I'm going to do kind of the quick and easy version of a bit of a test. Because remember, what I'm trying to do here is just cut the alcohol so I can try and see what the underlying flavour is like. And I'm going to do that by using a little bit of milk. So I'm going to pop some milk in our glass. And then I'm going to start with the mint extract. And I'm just going to try a little bit. So I'm going to use a bit of a teaspoon to pop a little bit of that in my milk. And then I'm going to see if there's mint that actually comes across in that flavour. And again, this is just, you know, a bit of a way that you can test things like your, you know, your vanilla extracts and things. This actually works quite well. But let's see if it works with mint. Okay, now that's interesting. That is not as horrible as I was actually anticipating that was going to be. There's not a hugely strong mint flavour to that. To the point, I'm actually going to grab a fresh spoon so I can dip again. There is actually a little bit of a mint hit to that. That's really interesting. All right, I'm not going to contaminate that one with the milk this time. I'll use this one again. Let's give that another test. It's not a hugely dominant flavour of mint, but there is now a mint flavour there. All right, I'm gonna pour that out and then I'm gonna have a go at this one here. Let's give this second one a go. So we'll top up the milk a little bit. Probably using way too much milk there, but hey, I overpoured a bit. And there's our peppermint. This was our spoon we used before. Should be fine to use that again. I'm not too stressed about a little bit left over from the previous batch. All right, I'm going to do what I did before and start with just the one spoon and see how that is with this one. All right, let's taste that one. Not hugely minty, but again, the other one wasn't with the one spoon, so let's give that a second. And kind of stir that one in as well. Getting milk everywhere. All right, let's try that one. So again, there is a little bit of mint there, but again, it is really, really delicate. You want to have a try?
Yeah, I'll have a try.
All right, tiny sip. All right, you tell me, what do you reckon of that?
So I was just processing. It's really like a imagine milk, but it's got like a soft mint flavor in the back of it. Like,
Yep.
like I know that's the I think the one that we assumed was peppermint.
Yep.
Well, we assumed. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah. But it's not
It's
really
not
that
strong.
minty, is it? Yeah.
That's why it took me a while to process it.
Yeah. No, it's like, honestly, it doesn't smell that great when you're smelling it directly. But yeah, when you cut it with the milk like that, you kind of lose that funky kind of plant smell that is in that. But yeah, it's, I don't know, it's not the greatest, really, is it?
Like it.
No, I don't either. Yeah, so essentially, here's our two mint extracts. As I said at the start of the video, this is not something I have ever done before. So this was a bit of an experiment for us. I was kind of hoping I'd get some nice mint flavored extract for a bit of Christmas baking, but yeah, that's probably not really the case for what we've created here. I am now super, super glad that I did just do the small batches. I haven't wasted too much alcohol, so I suppose the learning in this sort of stuff is when you're doing tests and experiments for the first time, you know, it really is always about, you know, just doing small batches if you're worried about wasting some type of product. Yeah, I'm glad I tried it. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. I don't think it's worth it. It definitely hasn't given that yummy minty flavour that you want from a mint extract. I suspect that, you know, that's something you probably more so need to distill the oils out of mint leaves to get that flavour, as opposed to doing an extract into alcohol like this. But as you know, I love an experiment. We definitely did a bit of an experiment with this one. And yeah, that's what happened. So thanks as always, guys, for joining, and catch you later.
Goodbye.
Yeah, it was probably a bit more like pond water.